What's up and welcome to the Sam Dracula channel, Charlotte Hornets fan channel. And today in this episode, we are talking big men, all right? I was going to do a standalone video on Kai Jones next. If you missed it, I've done videos on Keon Johnson, James Bouknight, and Jalen Johnson and thus far. And with the drafts coming up quickly, it makes sense to just kind of bundle all the bigs together in one video because A, time constraints, and B, I'm gonna say a lot of the same thing over and over again if I split the prospects up into different videos, because I would talk about the Hornets' need for a center in all those videos and it get a little repetitive. So I'm gonna do it one time in this video because the Hornets have a very specific need. All right, so if you're new around here, this is my big board. What I did, I went on a bunch of different websites to look at different mock drafts to see what players were in the Hornets range, like from 9 to like 14, just in that area, right? And then I went on different big boards to rank them. I looked at how those players were ranked, got the averages, and then ranked them here. So as you can see, according to my fancy algorithm, James Bouknight is top of the table. According to this thing that I put together, Kai Jones ended up being the highest rated big of this pool of players. And I'm cool with that because as of today, July 18th, he's working out with the Hornets. And at this point, from what I understand, Kai Jones seems to be a better version of Isaiah Jackson. So that makes sense, this disparity between the two of them. The question mark is Sen Goon and Garuba, two guys who offer different skill sets. Both would be super useful here in Charlotte, but I think one is more useful than the other between the two of them. And I'm gonna show you why. Just stay with me, okay? Before we get into the rest of the video, I have news. This boy right here, Adam Morrison, this one of a kind. I don't know if it's one of a kind. I have no idea how rare this is, if it's rare at all. But if you want this Bobcats era Adam Morrison figurine in glorious condition, enter my Discord, okay? There's a channel in there called Giveaways. The giveaway is live. All you need to do, click the celebration thing emoji in the bot. Like it looks like a party favor. Click that, that's it, you're entered in the giveaway. That bot will pick a random winner on July 30th, I think. And I'll DM the winner and I'll get your information and I'll mail you this. No purchase necessary, all right? I'll put this in the mail myself and I'll send it to you. So if you want this, you have until the 30th to enter. Join my Discord, link in the description for all that good stuff for all your Adam Morrison needs, wants, and desires. Before I get into the prospects, I want to talk about how things stand currently, and specifically on the offensive end. Obviously, rim protection is an important aspect of things, but I think a bigger need for the Hornets in 2021, 2022, this upcoming season, is an offensive threat, a guy that can do stuff offensively, that has to be defended offensively. It's not a thing that currently exists here in Charlotte. And with that, we could see other players thrive in the half court. So often, way too often, we saw the Hornets go stagnant in the half court, relying on jump shots. As us Hornets fans know, the Hornets love taking threes, right? 9th in the league in 3-point attempts per game, okay? Percentage-wise, they're 14th in the league. The issue is that's all they do. 2-point attempts per game, bottom, 23rd. Field goal percentage per game, bottom half of the league, 22nd. Not great. I say that to say this. Let's play a game. Guess the shot chart. Whose shot chart do you think this belongs to? This will be 1, okay? 1, who do you think 1 is? And who do you think 2 is? 1, 2. Bismack Biyombo, Cody Zeller, okay? Biz, although this was a great moment where Eric Collins lost his mind, this is what he offers offensively, okay? And in a vacuum, there's nothing wrong with that. That's a skill set. He's made a lot of money doing this. It's fine. But the issue is when the other center that's getting all the minutes is pretty similar, we are not stretching the floor like we need to. There's no reason to defend any of our centers when they come out here for high screens or handoffs. Any team in the right mind will leave the center, Biz or Zeller, all alone out here. If it's Biz, he's not going to shoot it. And if it's Zeller, he's not going to make it. So what does that do to the team in the half court? It remains stagnant. Allows the other team to double team the guy with the ball because they don't have to worry about the center. This is why I'm excited about the future of Vernon Carey here, because it's not a lot of value. We didn't see a lot of him this year. But when he started against the Nets, we saw a guy who was eager to take a shot, mid-range jumpers, 1-3, whatever, not worried about the 3, but shots from outside the key. This almost did it, almost. It's on the line there. Zeller, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm excited about Vernon Carey's potential because he seems to be a guy who's willing to shoot the ball, a center that's willing to shoot it. And, you know, when they played the Nets let him shoot it. And he took advantage and he made buckets. Dub. The issue is he has some other stuff to work out to round out his game. Being a second round pick, no summer league, like shortened preseason, weird G League situation, weird playtime situation on top of everything else. He gets a pass from me for that last year, you know? We don't know. The jury's out of what he has to offer. When I think about the center position and what the Hornets need, I don't know if the answer to that issue, that face-up center, the guy that can face up and hit a jumper or take a jumper at the very least, will be there when the Hornets draft at 11. We don't know who will be there at 11 in general, but that perfect center won't be there. Between Sen Goon, Kai Jones, and Isaiah Jackson, looking at their offensive abilities, like not even offensive abilities, scoring abilities, it all seems to be within the paint, either just post moves or athleticism getting to the bucket in rim running situations, which I'm here for. Let's go, come to Charlotte. But that offensive face-up threat needs to be addressed. And with those guys, nothing's stopping them other than themselves from spending time and developing those skills as they become pros, right? Who knows what can happen in year 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, you know? These guys are young, tons of potential, any one of them. I think the nature of the 11th pick, you're not gonna get the guy that solves all your problems, right? This is not gonna happen at that point in the draft. It's not fair to expect that, but who knows? Halliburton was perfect for the Kings. He went 12th last year. Like, plenty of talented guys will be available at that point, theoretically, right? But when it comes to building a team off the unknown, any guy the Hornets draft is gonna have to be like, it's gonna have to come with another roster move. And looking at the bigs, Garuba, Sen Goon, Isaiah Jackson, Kai Jones, the Hornets will need to round out the front court no matter what, because it'll be insert rookie, whatever rookie center they get, Vernon Carey and Nick Richards. That's not enough. Like, that's 3 dudes who are under 23 is not great. Like, that's crazy. All right, I'm on Kai Jones's page here. All right, 6'11", 218. All right, he has the frame for an NBA big, right? Probably needs to get stronger, but that'll come over time. Not worried about it. What I love about second-year players is that you can look at their college stats and see the progression from year 1, from freshman year to sophomore year. You know, just under 3 shot attempts per game for him, shooting 50% in year 1 in his freshman year. And then the sophomore year, shot attempts went up, as did the field goal percentage. Love that. That's what you want to see. So over time, you can hopefully expect him to improve his shooting decision-making, playmaking, etc. Just rounding his game out as he matures, as he gets more experience. But as a day 1 player, I think what's fair to expect from Kai Jones is an athletic big who could run the floor. All right, so I'm on the Floor and Ceiling YouTube channel. This is their video. I'm just gonna leave the screen up for a second. 6'9", 240 pounds for Sen Goon. What I love about the foreign players is they are pros, like that they have experience being a professional athlete. And I think they deserve a lot of credit for that, because being a professional athlete comes with a lot of pressure. You're playing with adults. Grown men are in your locker room. There's a sense of maturity you should expect from that type of environment, one that could translate nicely to an NBA locker room, theoretically. It's all theoretical, right? So Sen Goon gets that seal of approval from me in that respect off rip. The issue is he's a little undersized. which I'm not gonna kill him for. I think PJ showed him the ability to get busy as an undersized big. The Nets had Blake Griffin playing center and they almost beat the Bucks. So the NBA is different now, right? It's different. As a day one, like what are you bringing to the Hornets on day one point of view for Sen Goon? He can score in the paint. You pass him the ball on the block, he can get his own bucket. Like I assume his shot chart will look something like this after his first year. Like it'll be all up in here. Because from what I've read, it doesn't seem like he's much of a guy that will stretch the floor as a big yet. That could change obviously, but that seems to be the case as of now. But he gets major points from me for being a guy who's a pro. He's shown the ability to rebound and seems to have a good feel for the game, which again, it could be very useful day one. He seems to be a more well-rounded player versus a Kai Jones or Isaiah Jackson that seem to be an athlete that can run the floor and offer something on defense, which is useful. Like I don't want to undersell that. We need that. We need the athleticism and defensive help. Need it. Big need. But that half-court offense from the big spot doesn't exist in this Hornets roster right now. It doesn't exist. And we need that. The Hornets need that. When the Hornets get cold, without the presence of a knockdown shooter, we can't afford to have a guy left open because he's not gonna shoot the ball. It's not good. It needs to be addressed. And I think Sen Goon is that guy. He could be that guy for us. I think I'd be pretty okay with Sen Goon being drafted by the Hornets 11. Let's talk about Isaiah Jackson next. He seems to be a guy from day one that could bring in tons of athleticism, okay? Seems to be a theme around here. But at a ceiling, he can become an elite rim protector, a very valuable thing that the Hornets do not currently possess, okay? But he seems to be a worse version of Kai Jones. And that doesn't, warm my heart. Fast forwarding to draft day if the Hornets select Isaiah Jackson and Kai Jones or Sen Goon are sitting there, I don't know if I'd be that excited about it. I can't lie. What I do like in college, 2.6 blocks per game, 3 fouls per game, whatever. You'll get like better discipline as a shot blocker as he becomes a pro and gets coached and gets more experience, etc. I'm not worried about that necessarily. The 2 points per game, 2 pointers per game, 5.4 shots, 55-ish% from the floor underneath the 3-point line. Speaking of 3-point line, got him. No action there. But again, not worried about that. That's not his move. That's not his bag, which I respect. If you're not a 3-point shooter, don't shoot threes. Respect it. He seems to be a guy whose shot chart could end up like Bismack Biyombo's. He has the height to be a center, not necessarily the weight or strength. That will come with time. If you tell me we get a guy in the draft who's super athletic and can run the floor and get rebounds and block shots, that's not a bad thing to leave draft night with. I just think there are better options there. So I just want to mention Garuba real quick. A, because his name is awesome. And B, he's in my draft board, sandwiched between Sen Goon and Isaiah Jackson. But he's not really a center. He's a big, 6'8", 230. So they say Garuba, hyper defender, who always makes the extra effort but needs to define an offensive role. I don't like it. If they get him at 11, I'll feel a way about it. I won't like it. I won't like that. No offense to the young man, but doesn't do it for me. Sorry. 5.7 points per game. Whatever. 32% from 3 on 3 attempts per game. When I point out a guy who doesn't take a lot of threes because he's not good at it, I respect it. This is what I mean. Like, he's chucking the ball up 3 times a game, making 32% of them. Like, that's not what you want to see. Especially coming in from overseas. 5.4 rebounds per game, respectable. 66% from the free throw line. I respect it. Not great. Room for improvement there. He's a defensive specialist like Kai Jones and Isaiah Jackson, but he's not the same athlete as those guys. Nah, son. No, thank you. Past opponents left him wide open behind the arc, just as they will in the NBA. Rip. As far as I'm concerned, the name of the game is building around Melo Ball, right? And I think about players that would fit well with LaMelo Ball. And the beauty of it is, I think LaMelo can play with everybody. As long as they're not a ball dominant guard, right? And they could offer something off the catch and shoot. Just because I don't love it when LaMelo's relegated to the corner 3 spot and waiting for a pass. That's not his best strong suit. And we know he can shoot the ball there, but that's not the best version of LaMelo Ball. So I say that to say, what's the best center option? Like what kind of fit? What skill set would work best with LaMelo Ball? Would you want a rim running center or a guy that can get his own bucket off the block? And I want to say a guy that can get his own bucket off the block, because that guy can draw a double team. You set him an entry pass like a Sen Goon, okay, in this scenario. Set him an entry pass, he can maybe draw a double team. Maybe he can find an open guy who can hit an open shot. There seems to be more meat there. It's a weird thing to say. Sen Goon seems to offer more in the half court. And I just maybe have PTSD from last season and how stagnant things could be, especially when the starters leave the floor. Let's say the Hornets draft Sen Goon. They're still gonna have to bring in a center in free agency. And the guys available, I'm a big proponent of Nerlens Noel. Like if that's the pairing while Vernon Carey and Nick Richards cook in the background, that set of 4, I'd be really cool with. I'd love that. Nerlens can start, and Sen Goon, let's say, would be an offensive big off the bench they could turn to while Vernon Carey continues to develop. You know, that seems to be a thing that could be all right. It could be all right. So let's say the Hornets draft Kai Jones, okay? They still need another center, just like they would if they draft Sen Goon, right? Looking at the free agent market, who would you rather have? Daniel Tice and Kai Jones, or JaVale McGee and Sen Goon? That's kind of where things are right now. Insert whatever center, free agent center you want there. Whatever, pick your poison, right? But you get what I'm saying, right? The Hornets draft a defensive specialist, they'll still need to get a center that can score. Or the flip side, if they draft a scorer like Sen Goon, at least a interior paint scorer like Sen Goon, they'll still need a center that can run the floor and do things on the defensive end. And that, where do you find it? Like, how do you strike that balance? My opinion, I'm a proponent of going the Sen Goon route. I think that is the more difficult skill to find. I think you can find a defender in free agency, in the trade market. So yeah, after kind of talking this through here on video, I think my preferred big option is Sen Goon. Just because I think you can get that rim protector guy in free agency, and a Nerlens Noel, and a JaVale McGee, just to offer something. It's not gonna solve all the problems. Let's just get through this year and figure out next year, right? And who the hell knows? Sen Goon could maybe develop into that guy if they draft him there, right? If Nick Richards clicks, if Vernon Carey clicks, then boom, problem solved. Otherwise, we'll fix it next offseason. But just to get through this year, I look at Ibaka, Robin Lopez, Tice, Nerlens. They're guys there. They're not all-stars, but they're guys that can do the job, professional players, veteran players that have been in the league a long time, that can offer something on the defensive end, while Vernon Carey and Sen Goon potentially carry the load offensively in the half court. You get me? But off the bench, a guy who can score on the block, has playmaking and rebounding ability, and can hit his free throws from a center spot sounds really good. Sounds really, really good. I'd love that. So I'm here, I'm in on Sen Goon, unofficial tier list. I would be thrilled, over the moon with Book Night or Sen Goon. The level down will be Keon Johnson and Kai Jones, and then there's really everybody else. Like, I'm not psyched about Jalen Johnson. I'm not psyched about Isaiah Jackson or Garuba. This is just kind of where I'm sitting now. I've yet to do a video on Moses Moody. He's up next. A video on him will be next on my channel. This is up Monday the 19th. So Wednesday will be my Moses Moody video. So stay tuned for that. I'm excited to do a deep dive on his abilities and what he could bring to Charlotte. It seems to be pretty dope. I don't know if he'll be there or not, so I've been kind of like holding off on that one because he seems to be a perfect fit for what we need currently, but time will tell. We'll see what happens. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments your preferred big in the draft. Of the guys that could be around when the Hornets draft at 11th, who do you want in Charlotte? Who do you think would be the best fit? And if that move, like let's say Sen Goon, who would you want to pair him with in free agency or in the trade market to make sure the center position for the Hornets is solidified from in the depth chart from 1 to 2 to 3 and to 4. We need bodies there that can hold it down, given injuries, suspensions, back-to-backs, etc. Because the depth in this team needs to be addressed.